Cars the video game, the tie-in video game for Cars, released in 2006. I grew up loving this game, and still do to this very day. This is probably the video game that I'm most nostalgic to. There is a lot to discuss about surrounding this game, and I've got plenty of video topics planned on it. One thing I don't see a lot of people mentioning while talking about this game is the different alts for the characters. Every playable character has alternate costumes, or paint jobs, much like characters in Super Smash Bros. Most of these paint jobs are made for this game, with very few of them originating from the first movie, so I decided to rank these paint jobs from worst to best. I am, however, going to rank them separately from each other, so every McQueen paint job will be ranked separately from every Maker paint job. Also, only the alternative paint jobs will be included, so the regular looks will not be ranked. Also, this will be based on the Wii version of Cars the video game. At the end of the video, I will tell you what my 10 least favorites and my 10 favorites are from the whole game, so stay tuned for that. Also, I'm not a colors expert, so I'm probably gonna call certain colors by the wrong name. Anywho, let's begin. First up is Lightning McQueen. He is the main character, so obviously number 95 here would have the most amount of paint jobs, though he definitely doesn't have 95 paint jobs, but instead 13. The worst one is this red and yellow one unlocked at the start. Oh yeah, disclaimer, I don't think any of these paint jobs, except for the ones that come from the movie, actually have any names. So yeah. The design isn't awful, but it's not different enough from the original one. Plus, why would you choose a McQueen alt that is red and yellow? You know, the colors McQueen normally has. Yeah, this one is bad, and I never see myself using this alt. Number 12 goes to the other red and yellow alt. The design on this McQueen is more boring than the previous one, but at least his rim color is now yellow, on top of having yellow eyelids. Yeah, still not a very good alt. At number 11 we've got this one. It's basically the same as the last one, but most of the red is replaced with blue. It doesn't really look that great, but at least it's a bit more different from the normal McQueen. Next up is this one. The shade of blue is nice, but the rest of the design is really basic. Just slap on a number 95 at the side and it will be quite better. Number 9 goes to this green one. It has the same design as our previous one, but instead of him being primarily blue, he's instead green, with some light blue elements. Not bad, but could still use some more details. Then we've got this brown one. Same design as the last two, but with a way more unique color scheme. I really like his yellow rims, coupled with the brown livery. Pretty nice, honestly. At number 7 we have this blue, green and yellow livery available from the start. It shares its design with the worst alt on this list, but now with a color scheme that differentiates from the regular McQueenster. I really like how vibrant it looks, though I don't think it fits McQueen all that well. Next is this red, white and black livery. The design is whatever, but the colors are pretty nice. I do wish that the red would be less prominent, which would you look at that? Number 5. The same as the last one, but removes the red entirely, now being just black and white, which looks pretty darn cool. At number 4 is the last one you get at the beginning. Not as unique as the number 7 on this list, but fits McQueen way better. It reminds me of Mater the Grader, with the colors as well as the stars at the back. Really solid overall. At number 3 we have what I like to call Dr. McQueen, because it reminds me of Dr. Mater from Mater's Tall Tales. I absolutely love the color scheme. There isn't much of a design on him, unfortunately. They did compensate this by throwing in some contingency sponsors, the Piston Cup logo, and his name on certain areas. After that we have Dinoco McQueen, one of the few paint jobs to be taken from the movie. This is basically just the regular McQueen, but with the Dinoco paint scheme. I've always loved this alt, and it's for sure one of the best. But not as good as number 1 with this one. It's probably the most unique one of his alts. The design is pretty good, and the colors are phenomenal. He's got his name written on him on a lot of different areas, still has his number on top and on his hood, he has the contingency sponsors, I like the yellow rims on him, and I love his back. Easily the best McQueen alt. Next up, we've got Tomato without the T. He's got 6 ults, with the worst one being this one. His color scheme is really boring. It's brown and blue. There's some flames that look kind of cool, but most of his other ults also have this, so it just kind of makes this one less special. Number 5, we've got this yellow, green and blue one. Better than the last one, but still not that great. I just don't think yellow suits Mater all that well. After that, we have another flame paint job. This one is quite an improvement over the last one, looking pretty cool. At number 3 is this red and green one. This one doesn't have flames, but instead some other details on him. It's pretty simple, but still quite nice. Next is this one, which is basically just the same as the last one, but the colors are swapped, though the red is more pinkish purplish now. I think this one looks better because of the green being more prominent. But at number 1 is this one. It's another paint job of flames, but the colors make this one way better than the other ones. The colors just look really good and mesh really well together. Sally is next, who bizarrely only got 3 paint jobs. I don't know why she received the fewest in the whole game, but okay. Not only that, all of them are just recolors, with no new details added. Kind of feels like they just forgot to give her some alts and just threw in some last minute. The worst one is this green one. It's not bad, but I just don't think it suits Sally all that well. Next is this peach color scheme. It reminds me a lot of Candice from Cars Racerama, and that's all I've got to say about it. Number 1 is the pink one. The pink is nice and vibrant and looks good on her. Don't know why we needed both a peach and a pink Sally. They surely could have replaced one of them with yellow or white or, just add more than 3 paint jobs. After that comes Dark Hudson with a total of 7 paint jobs. The weakest one in my opinion is this one right here. It's not bad, but it's just less interesting than the other ones. He just has some white areas now and that's really about it. After that we have this one. I think the design is fairly decent, though the colors are kind of boring. Then we have this paint job, which is an interesting one. The thing that is interesting is that in some versions of the game, his number is 41 instead of 51, which is odd. Besides that, I think the color scheme is pretty nice, and I like all the decals on him. Next up is the fabulous Hudson Hornet. This one comes from the movie, and while it's kind of basic, since it's just regular dark with some text on it, it still looks nice and is a reference to something, so in the middle he goes. Number 3 is this green livery. It's the same design as the blue and beige one from before. His colors remind me a lot of the Vitaline racers, and heck, even has the number 51, just like Aiken's, so that's cool I guess. Then we've got this grey and white color scheme. It's pretty simple, which I think fits. It reminds me of how TV used to be back in the day. And since dark is how McQueen put it,
crazy grandpa car,
it just fits. However, at number 1, we have this one. I love this alt. It just looks so fabulous on dock, even more so than the fabulous Hudson Hornet, and feels very old school. It also reminds me of Mildred Byling. Now, Ramone is the character known for changing up his paint job all the time, so obviously we have a lot to choose from. Huh? What do you mean he only has 6 paint jobs? So yeah, for some reason Ramone only has 6 paint jobs, and 3 of those are from the movie, meaning that he only received 3 new alts. Plus, there were some more paint jobs that didn't even make it in, like Lightning Ramone, or especially Ghostlight Ramone. They have a Mater and the Ghostline minigame in this game, so that one really should have been in. But oh well, let's see how good the ones that are in the game truly are. The worst one is his red livery that he had in the movie. It's just kind of generic, plus there's a way better red livery for him later on. At number 5 we have his green livery from the movie. It's also okay, but what puts it above is that it isn't redundant with any of his other liveries. Next is his final paint job from the movie, which is the yellow one. This one is the best of the 3 since it sticks out more with the yellow and small bits of purple and red, looking quite nice. Next is the first original paint job for Ramone, and that is the red flame paint job. Now this is more like it. The flames look great, and I think they fit Ramone way more than they did on Mater. Number 2 goes to the blue Ramone with flames. This one makes up for there not being a ghost-like Ramone, since this one is just much cooler. The dark blue with the light blue and white flames look awesome as heck. Blue flames are just objectively cool, I guess. Though my favorite goes to grey Ramone with flames. Man, what an awesome color palette. The grey is stunning, coupled with the white and orange flames. Makes Ramone look really badass. Flo comes after that, with a whopping 9 paint jobs. Why she has that many? I'm not quite sure. The weakest one would have to be this one. It's certainly not bad, but not impressive either. The decals are kinda cool though, I'll give it that. At number 8 we've got this grey and blue paint scheme. Don't have much to say about it other than it looks nice. Next up we find ourselves this peach and turquoise livery. The colors mesh well together and the decals are really good too. After that we have this one, kind of just a bit darker than our previous one, with some different decals. It also makes me think of Sheila. At number 5 we've got her yellow livery. I like her decals and I think yellow suits her pretty well. It also reminds me of Laverne. After that is her reddish, pinkish, peachish color scheme. Man, I really don't know my colors well. This one too looks really good on her, and like the previous two, this one also reminds me of one of the Motorama girls, this time Rhonda. At number 3 we've got this purple livery. Man, Flo just fits in just about any color. This one is really good, with a nice shade of purple combined with grey and some pretty neat decals. At number 2 we've got her other purple livery. I guess they just thought purple fit her so well that they decided to give her 2 different ones. This one ranks higher than the last one because I find her decals to be better. My favorite, however, goes to her black alt. This one is just incredible. It's basically the equivalent of a black shiny from Pokemon, meaning that it's automatically really good. Next on our list of characters is Sheriff, who surprisingly also has 9 alts. I don't know why, but sure, if. My least favorite is this brown one. It's just kind of dull. I do like the Radiator Springs decal on his hood though. Next is another brown one. It adds a bit more color than the previous one, as well as some police stars, with a nice big one at the back. Lucky number 7 is this one. This one is incredibly simple, by just adding in some white and those sheriff stars. At number 6 we have this blue and beige alt. My favorite part is definitely the checkered design on his sights. He's also got some palm trees on him. Maybe he's going on vacation to Palm Mile Speedway to chase down some hot rodders. After that we have yet another brown alt. This one is better than the other ones because of his checkered design, as well as those dark yellow elements on him. The last of the vacation trio is his green plus purple combo. This one beats out the other two because the colors are better. That's it. I mean, it's the same design, what do you want me to say? At number 3 we have yet another green alt, this one having some yellow thrown into the mix. It's pretty nice looking, and he actually has colored ribs and trims, unlike all the other sheriff alts. Neat. After that we've got the blue version of the same design. It just looks nicer with all the different variations of blue, and really fits a cop. But the best one is our 4th brown sheriff alt. Geez, don't you think that's a little too much? This one throws the other 3 into the mud by adding some cream color, which is honestly a perfect fit. This looks like a sheriff that would live out in the Wild Western. It's Kachika time! My favorite character to play as and the main antagonist in the game. And he only has 4 alts. Great! The worst one is this one. The colors are fine and the decals are fine. Oh, what is that? Why are there lines on his big grill? That just looks off. Then we have this alt. The grey is nice, but the peach coloring does not suit Chick Hicks at all. One thing that also looks off-putting on all of these is that there isn't much going on. Regular Chick Hicks has a lot of stickers on him, that it almost feels like this is a different character. The runner-up is this one. It's the same as the last one, but the peach color is replaced by red. which just fits better. But at number 1 we have Dinoco Hicks, which... Wait, you're seriously telling me that they didn't include Dinoco Hicks in this, even though Dinoco McQueen is in the game? I guess the number 1 spot goes to this Hicks alt instead. It's basically the same as the previous one, but the red at the front is replaced with black instead, which makes him look a lot better, though it certainly doesn't beat Dinoco Hicks. Like, why didn't you include it? Up next is Wingo, one of the delinquent road hazards, and the only one that's playable, even though you can literally play as DJ and Boost during story mode, and clearly have functioning models. They're just not playable. Why? The worst Wingo ult in my opinion is this one. It's pretty messy, it's pretty boring, and it just doesn't look that great. Next is this one. The decals on him are fine, but the color scheme just doesn't suit him at all. It just looks off. The one after that is this blue paint job. It has the same design as the worst one, but with colors that fit Wingo a lot more. After that is his white ult. I don't know if it fits better than the previous one, but it is a lot more unique, and it looks fairly good on him. He really looks like a white tiger. At number 4 we have this paint job. It's the same one as the number 7 spot, except it swaps the brown for blue, and that change alone makes it a whole lot better. At number 3 we've got the same one, but with green this time. I just think it looks a bit better, that's all. At number 2 we have this ult. Now this is more like it. This is what I would expect from a Wingo ult. The green fading into the yellow, which then fades into red, looks really darn awesome, but not as awesome as number 1. Wow. This is the same as the previous entry, just the other spectrum of the rainbow. The purple, the blue, the cyan, the everything just looks and fits Wingo perfectly. Now we get to Darrell Cartrip, who is only playable in Piston Cup races. He's got 5 ults, with the worst one being this one. He's got a weird shade of yellow coupled with grey. Kind of meh, and definitely the worst one since all of these share the exact same design. At number 4 we've got this grey plus red combo. Red and grey are already his normal colors, so it feels a bit redundant having this ult, especially since he is a lot plainer than his regular self, since there are no flames here. Next is this one, basically the number 5 spot, but changing the grey to black and swapping the spots of the two, which makes it look a lot better. Number 2 is the red plus black variant. It's like number 4 with the grey swap for black. And number 1 goes to the black and green variant. None of the other Darrell ults have green, which makes this one stick out more. Plus, it reminds me of Trunk Fresh. Lovely.
And Buck is in the wall! He's glued to the track and he just passed away! R.I.P. Buck! Watch and learn, kiddies!
Strip the King Weathers is next. He has just as many ults as he has Piston Cups, with 7. My least favorite goes to this white ult. It's just kind of boring, but it's at least a lot better than those godforsaken Apple racers. I'll give him that. Number 6 is his grey paint job. This looks a lot better than the previous one. The whole hood is colored, which I always like. One thing that I don't like, which was also a problem with the previous one, is the weird text at the back. It looks out of place and is kind of distracting while racing. At number 5 we have his dark blue plus yellow paint job. More interesting than the previous ones and is overall pretty solid. Except for that stupid text at the back. I'd just drive backwards if I were you. Next up is this ult. It looks really nice and sleek, but could have used his number on the sides. Honestly, all of his ults could have used the number 43 on the sides. Number 3, the orange plus grey ult. This one looks really good and reminds me of Stinger from Cars Racerama. The biggest issue, once again, is that ugly text, but luckily this is the last one that has it. After that we have this paint job. I love this color combo so much. The purplish grey, the white, and the red makes for a great looking paint scheme. The design is quite good too. It looks more like a retread car than Turner, the actual retread car in this game. How do you even manage that? But at number 1, we've got this legendary paint job. Just look at it! What a funky yet fun color scheme we're working with here. Yellow being the main one, but with some black and even brown. Like, come on! You cannot tell me that it doesn't look like a banana. Truly a work of art. So while recording this, I forgot Monster Truck McQueen was a thing, so I guess I gotta rank him too, but I really don't feel like it, because he has the same paint jobs as regular McQueen. He's like a monster truck now, so yeah, the positions will be the exact same for him. The last character on this list is one of the new characters, that being Count Spatula. You know, the character that only appeared in one mission, instead of like Fletcher or Guapo or Vince being a playable character. But we are working with a monster truck here that has always been depicted as such, meaning his ults were designed for him, unlike Monster Truck McQueen that just shares his with his regular self. The worst one is this one right here. Nope, this is actually an ult and not the original version. This is definitely the shiny guard Chomp of this game, where basically nothing changed. More than anything, this is just such a waste of an alt. There were so many better options they could have gone with, but instead they went with this. Like, we could have gotten a blue Count Spatula, which not only would be more distinct, but would have also reminded me of El Machismo from Cars Racerama, and would have completed the Cars Racerama trio. But no, we just had to get this barely different Count Spatula instead. Great. Number 5 is Magenta Alt. It's not bad, but not that impressive either. Number 4, the pink and yellow paint job. Not a color combo I would expect from a monster truck, but sure, it's pretty decent. Next is his red alt. Red definitely fits a guy named after Count Dracula. Honestly, wish they could have made the red stick out a little bit more, but it's not a big deal.
Wow.
At number 2, we have his white alt. Definitely the most different of this devious, devilish monster dude. It honestly looks really good. The only thing that doesn't look that great are his tires. I think if he stuck with his regular black tires, then that would have been better. But taking the spot at number 1 is his green and yellow paint job. Not only is it a nice shade of green with yellow, but coupled with his shouting, giant size, and especially those horns, this absolutely looks like a carified version of Bowser. And I just love that. And that was the list. Now let's quickly go through my 10 least favorites and my 10 favorites. Starting with the 10 worst. Number 10, Brown Sheriff 473. Number 9, Grey and Yellow Cartrip. Number 8, White the King. Number 7, Chick Hicks with weird lines on his grill. Number 6, Mater with blue flames. Number 5, Boring Wingo. Number 4, Puke Wingo. Number 3, Ketchup and Mustard McQueen. Number 2, Boring McQueen. And number 1, Count Spatula, that if you close your eyes, almost nothing changed at all. Now for the 10 best. Number 10, Purple Flow. Number 9, Toecap McQueen. Number 8, Rainbow Wingo First Half. Number 7, Blue Flamed Ramone. Number 6, Black Flow. Number 5, Grey Flamed Ramone. Number 4, Rainbow Wingo Second Half. Number 3, Count
Koopa.
Number 2, Mildred Bylane Doc Hudson. And number 1, Banana Strip Weathers. It looks like a banana split, and that's peak. Thanks for watching.